Итак, здравствуйте, дорогие подписчики и зрители канала. Меня зовут Александр, и сегодня мы проходим квест Альбедо. Очень классного пятизвездочного персонажа, которого, к сожалению, я пропустил. Итак, квест, к сожалению, опять к сожалению, да, начался автоматически. То есть я подошел к алхимику, хотел там салхимичить, и там начался разговор с Сахарозой. Но там они особо ничего не сказали нового, кроме того, что она хочет нас исследовать.
I've told you already, I don't go in for that kind of thing. I've
Нифига
got
себе.
more important matters to attend to.
Такая холодная женщина.
But this event has commemorative significance. The church hopes that all sisters will be present.
Hopes? That's odd, because I don't recall a fulfill the hopes of others clause in my job description.
I mean, sure, but...
But what? You're the event organizer, aren't you? Do you not find it
В смысле,
at least
почему?
a bit odd?
What do you mean?
This far out from Mondstadt at this hour? Even if you set out right now, I'll wager you'd still miss the opening ceremony.
Действительно холодное бабище.
Who knows? Maybe this is someone's grand plan to make a fool out of you.
Huh? Well, that can't be. People aren't like that.
Evidence decides what people are like, not your feelings. Maybe you're a little too trusting of other people. Don't fret, nobody's gonna blame you if you go back empty-handed. I can't imagine anyone else was delusional enough to think I was gonna show up. But if you dally any longer, you really won't make it.
You're right. It's a very important commemorative event.
Давай беги, что ли.
Right, I've gotta get going.
На самом деле Барбара довольно прикольная. Только у меня уже есть водяная в команде.
Seems like that sister's an expert in making people believe anything she wants.
I thought I heard something. Who are you and why are you
Фига себе,
eavesdropping?
дерзкое бабище.
We better watch out. She seems like a dangerous villain, or a trickster at best.
Oh, really? I'm a member of the long-standing Favonius Church. You're an eavesdropping pixie from who knows where, and you think I'm the trickster?
Wait, she heard that? But Paimon was whispering so quietly.
And as for this outlander you seem to be following... So it's you. The honorary knight that saved us from storm terror. Well then, given your status, I won't press you on your reasons for eavesdropping. Otherwise, depending on your answer, I could have arrested you on the spot.
What? Do the Sisters of Mondstadt have the authority to arrest people now?
We can't go turning a blind eye to hidden dangers, can we? Why shouldn't sisters have a sense of justice?
That doesn't sound right. But Paimon can't think of a good comeback.
Let's talk about you. What are you doing in the mountains?
Мы ищем Альбедо.
If it's him you're after, I made a point of noting his tracks. Many people have made their way up after the snowstorm. Let's hope they're still there.
So, are you also looking
А она точно священница?
No, this
Монахиня,
is just a
вернее.
professional habit of mine.
Больше на проститутку
I
похоже.
sensed elemental traces in these tracks. Never hurts to be vigilant. I couldn't care what you think. Come on then. I'd like to see what he's up to anyway.
Ну пойдем. Посмотрим.
Rosaria said there were elemental traces in the tracks. They should show up pretty clearly with elemental sight.
Там враг сидит. На нем шапка Деда Мороза или мне показалось? Очень уж похоже. Дед Мороз, привет. А, нет, это волосы у него такие. Как шапка Деда Мороза. Ты живой там? Все? Прости, я не специально, честно. Наверное. Ты просто мне мешал. Чё? Тогда надо же чувство стихии прирубить. И искать этого долбаного Альбедо, который не захотел ко мне выпадать. Где ты? Ага, понятно. Что-то ты быстро вырубился. Не успел я подойти.
What a bountiful harvest!
Так. Чувство стихий. Угу. Чувство. Чувство. А, вот вижу. Еле видно вот эти вот ножки его. Эти специально появились, да? Ой, прости. Ласку убил.
After committing a crime, you'd be able to leave the scene without a trace.
You're so suspicious. Why is Paimon a criminal in your example?
Эти слишком жесткие. Сейчас мне специально врагов раскидали, а?
It's getting colder and colder. Rosaria, aren't you freezing?
Да ей пофиг вообще.
Me? I'm all right. I got used to operating in adverse conditions a long time ago.
Не то нажал.
Seems like there's more to being a sister in the Favonius Church than Paimon realized.
А что это такое? А, погоди, может... Серьезно? У меня сейчас квесты здесь будут. На этой всратой территории. Знаете, я меньше всего это хотел. Это реально, меньше всего. Спасибо, что греешь меня, фейка. Так. Только где Альбедо? Где? А вот следы дальше идут, вижу. Эти все танцуют. А, вижу. Что ему вообще пофиг на этих хачапурлов. Да и на холод ему тоже пофиг. Ну хотя он уже алхимик.
Why would he hang around a place like this?
The word on the street is he loves painting. He'll hang around anywhere for a good landscape. The views and scenery here are pretty good. Potential paintings everywhere you look.
But can't he see those hilly churls? Isn't he in danger?
Смотри, а на этого не напали.
Looks like we startled them. Enough talk. Let's take them out of the picture first.
Who are you? Why did you alarm them? Thank the gods I'd already completed my painting. Would have been a shame to leave these particular hilly churls unfinished.
What's up with painting hilly churls? What makes them so interesting?
I'm afraid the answer isn't easy to explain. If you'd like to have a look at my painting, it may give you a clue.
Wow, look at the detail! But some of it seems to have been done in a hurry.
You can find these hilly churls anywhere. Quite boring, in fact. Not worth closer inspection. But take a look at this specimen. The build, the coat, and there's a distinct force at work here. In the cyclical lives of such primitive communities, such unique attributes are an indication of evolution at work. Evolution, the transition from nothing into existence, from the known to the
Hold your horses. Something tells me we're in for a thesis and I haven't got the stamina. We found your man. I'm headed back.
Вали сиська. Холодная сиська.
Don't you have any questions for him? Hey! What a weirdo.
So Sister Rosaria brought you. Surprising. And I didn't have time to thank her. But back to the point. From her words, it seems that you were looking for me?
Mm-hmm. We met a girl in Mondstadt, Sucrose. She said you were stuck with your research.
I see. So Sucrose sent you here. Then, if I'm not mistaken, you must be the honorary knight. You've got the whole of Mondstadt talking. I've heard a bit of everything. Your actions during Storm Terror's attack, your elemental control, and quite a few other mysterious things. I'll skip to the conclusion. There's only one possibility after all. Excellent. If I could procure your assistance, I think my research would benefit enormously. Forgive me. This must be confusing. Where should I begin? The essence of life?
Whoa, you want to start with that?
You're right. Giving a demonstration would be better than trying to explain. For example, awakening life. Breathing new life into fallen leaves.
Нифига себе. Как ты?
You can do that?
However, I have a particular seed in my possession. The method I'm talking about has produced no results. It's like you, in that it hails from another world. Helping it to grow, to bloom. That's the problem my research is up against. That's where I need your assistance.
Well, if you're struggling to figure it out, Paimon's not sure we're gonna be much assistance.
I beg to differ. I'm unable to comprehend the intricacies of life outside of the known world. But you're not from the known world. By observing and researching you, I may just be able to find a way to get the seed to sprout.
Shall we just get out of here? This sounds a little freaky.
Это опасно?
It's possible. But I will do everything in my control to ensure your safety. Time for a change of surroundings. We should be going. There's research to do.
Смотри, подслушивает.
Albedo and that traveler seem to have hit it off. Takes a weirdo to know one, I guess. I wonder, does this constitute a risk to Mondstadt?
Ты-то не лезь. Мы больше тебя всего сделали вообще-то. Побище. Ой, все это на ледяной территории. Офигеть. Чтобы я бегал и подыхал. Ну, спасибо, Альбедо. Ты красавчик.
Paimon has a question. After the seed sprouts, will it grow into anything?
I don't know. But I feel the importance will lie in the method, not the endpoint. Using alchemy to awaken otherworldly life into that would constitute a big leap in my understanding of the essence of life. After awakening, even creation may be possible. Still a little difficult to understand?
No, Paimon's got a brain. But what's the seed gonna become? Isn't that more interesting than whatever it was you...
Well, if it turns out to be a delicious fruit, dinner's on me.
Yay! Paimon's holding you to it.
Well, let's just say I, occasionally have to look after a child. Another lengthy explanation, I'm afraid. I suppose it's one of the few non-alchemy related disciplines I'm any good at. The subject of my first research was the elements. In this world, manipulating the elements requires a vision. Though I can't see anything resembling one on your person, how you're able to freely manipulate elemental power is something I'd like to ascertain.
Давай спрашивай.
I've got a few questions in that regard. First, do you have any extra organs? A second heart? A fourth stomach? Things of that. Fascinating. And this floating child is connected to your body in some way?
Кстати, да.
Stupid question. Can't you
Может быть, она нам дает все эти способности?
And another thing, it's Paimon, not floating child.
I was merely considering the possibility that you were an external organ. Perhaps there is some invisible force connecting you. Oh, that rules out that possibility. I wonder, Did Paimon guide the elemental power to you? But that would mean that Paimon's elemental power would be enough to break through a mountain rock at least 10 meters thick, or cause the waterfall south of Springville to flow backwards.
А может и может.
No, that definitely can't be it.
How would you know anyway?
In that case, it would appear that there's no obvious difference between the composition of your body and that of the humans in this world. Given that there's clearly a discrepancy in their research, it seems that only experimentation will yield the answers. Firstly, this mysterious elemental power. I'd like to examine exactly how it manifests externally. Let me lure a few slimes to the area. Perhaps you'd be able to defeat them, using whatever method comes most naturally to you.
Надеюсь, я не буду играть за главный герой.
Doesn't seem very sciencey.
Давай.
Direct and clear observation are imperative to a good experiment. This is just a simple exercise. Naturally, if you require a greater challenge, we could bring in 6 Oceanids.
Не.
Slimes! Slimes are fine.
Well, prepare yourself. The slimes will be here any moment.
Out of the frying pan. Odds revealed.
А тебя не смущает, что я в разных персонажей превращаюсь в эту минуту?
I summon thee.
Midnight Phantasmagoria.
Кстати, почему не замерзая благодаря этому,
Nice and spicy.
нашему другу?
Witness the power of Gugwa.
Где Альбедо?
Freeze.
Gugwa. By royal decree.
А, сволочь, защиту в себя отрастил.
As you wish, mein Fräulein.
Nice and spicy. Odds revealed by
А почему, кстати, я нанес ему урон льдом, если у него иммунитет, как к льду, не?
Phantasmagoria.
Как бы, мне казалось, что иммунитет.
out of the frying pan into the fire.
Dodge this. Don't get frostbite.
By royal
Капец
decree.
жирный.
Nice and spicy.
Great work. Did you feel anything out of the ordinary? If you're injured, I have a few emergency potions ready. Excellent. According to my observations, the manifestation of the external elemental flow is as expected. Elemental reactions are normal. There's nothing out of the ordinary. Now that we know that the external flow is manifesting normally, let's test
А
the
как?
internal flow.
В туалет сходить?
Internal flow. How do you test that?
It's very simple. I can use alchemy to create a potion that will extract elemental power. If the elemental power is stored or accumulated physically within your body, this potion may elicit an elemental reaction.
Sounds kinda terrifying.
Don't worry. In the normal course of events, you'd feel some temporary queasiness. No bodily
Да, это
injury.
интересно, кстати.
And in the abnormal course of events?
If anything unexpected occurs, I've made the necessary preparations. Try not. Well, it's not that there aren't any risks involved. But if there is anything blocking your elemental flow, we'll be able to locate it with this test. Just a warning. If an internal elemental reaction occurs for any other reason, that's a bad sign. Yes, that's an excellent way to think about it. Before we get started, the potion we'll use for the test is missing a catalyst. We'll need to find it. It's a type of ore known as star silver, but unfortunately not all of it is suitable. I'll take you to my campsite. We can gather some star silver ore on the way. I'll point out any
Зашибись.
likely contenders.
Пойдем.
All going to plan. We should be able to begin concocting the potion when we get to the campsite.
Давай, показывай быстрее.
Paimon's still got a few safety concerns, but it seems like there's a silver lining. Let's keep our eyes open.
Here. Should do for catalyst purposes.
Зашибись.
This one. Usable with a bit of polish. What luck. This should be enough. My campsite is just up ahead. I'll lead the way.
О, телепорт. Погреешь немножко. Ну, вот тут твои лаги где находятся? Внизу? Тихо, осторожно. Ну, Альбедо мастер, ты прятаться, я скажу.
This is my campsite. I've added the materials we collected to the concoction. While we are waiting, have a look over here. My assistant Timaeus here is helping me with my research. I'm guessing you may have met in Mondstadt already.
Hello! I've just gotten hold of the data from your experiment. The report is already up on the board there.
Whoa! Look at all the data! You got all these results from one slime battle?
I wouldn't call them results, inferences, and a few daring guesses perhaps. I think the most rational direction would be to expound on the phylogenetic relationship between this traveler and the slimes. Consider. You don't have a vision, but you can manipulate elemental energy. The slimes don't have visions either, yet they too are able to manipulate the elements. Following this line of thought, I'm sure we'll be able to establish a basis in fact.
Not bad for a point of entry. But strictly speaking, slimes are elemental life forms. In other words, beings consisting entirely of the elements. A cryoregis vine, or even a wildflower might be a better analogy. But tracing back the phylogenetic relationships between plants and animals, you might have to trace back to the world's origins. In that sense, things might get difficult, don't you think?
Yes, sir. That sounds correct.
After all, we've got our primary data already.
Угу.
This
А откуда у тебя
traveler is
эти
a
данные,
visitor
скажи?
from another world. If it turned out that he did have a phylogenetic relationship with this world, now that really would be something, wouldn't it?
Ah, it would. Apologies. I was so excited to get the data. I'll slow down a bit next time. Speaking of data, to complete our research, we'll need some more. I'll be conducting analysis here for the time being. If you're keen for an update, just come and find me.
Great, I'll leave you to it. Looks like the potion's ready. I'll try a
Ну-ка,
little
давай.
first. If all goes well, I'll hand it over to you.
Вот это, кстати, справедливо.
In line with my expectations. Ready to drink.
Э,
Remember to keep calm at all
Когда ты успел?
times. And breathe deeply if you feel unwell.
Ух ты! Какие у тебя тут предметы? Почему я горю?
Tasty? You've got a funny look on your face. You said you tried some already. You sure it was ready? What happened to him?
Oh, this was the result I was expecting. And a very positive one at that. This potion channels elemental power into the body. Under normal circumstances, a repelling reaction is to be expected. But if the internal elemental flow is unimpeded, you'll only experience momentary discomfort. Once the flow is complete, there won't be any other effects.
So you knew you'd be sick and still drank some?
It was my own concoction, of course. Only natural for me to be the guinea pig. But of course, you're my assistant. By all sense and reason, it would
Слушайте,
be
он
wrong
классный
to
чел.
place that risk onto you. In conclusion, I'd say we have our conclusion. As far as elemental energy is concerned, you're no different from anyone else in this world. Nothing peculiar.
Aw, Paimon wanted something cooler to happen.
Then again, better an ordinary result than a peculiar result. Peculiar results have a tendency to be of the...
Что-то
The good
интересное.
thing about ordinary is that everything is an object of reference, and everyone understands you. People are the same, they can understand, empathize, encourage, and support one another. When you're sick, a doctor can diagnose you because they are you. When something goes wrong, you can ask people who've made the same mistake for their experience because you are them. But a peculiar person, they don't have much recourse for the things we take for granted. The essence of their life is fundamentally different. For example, a human can't understand the life of a pyroregisvine or an eye of the storm. To sum up, this has been a positive outcome. Going forward, you can use your elemental power without fear. Timaeus, the results of the new experiment are out. If you could see to collating them.
Just a moment, sir. I'll handle it. Oh, you gave me a lot to consider. Really stretched my limits. I'm thinking a lot clearer now. Oh, having you down as an animal wasn't very precise of me, but starting with the premise of an elemental life form, now that was...
Not bad. I think it's an interesting line of inquiry. Whatever the truth of the matter, I'd like your research at the fore as opposed to my judgment.
You can count on me, sir. I'll extract a result satisfactory to all.
Is he trying to join the Knights? He's starting to sound like a suck-up. What Paimon meant to say was, that's the spirit. Mr. Albedo, say something.
Before we can proceed with our research, I need to... prepare something. Wait one moment. If you're interested, why not have a look around? It may help to pass the time.
Да. Капец, у него залежи тут.
Here comes Albedo. Let's go see him.
I'm back. Did you see anything interesting? Not to worry. They're all for alchemical purposes. You'd be hard-pressed to find an everyday use for them. Well, on with the research. There may be significant differences between different worlds. Take Teyvat, for example. Here, those with visions can manipulate the elements. But worlds may well exist where only one person is able to do so. Or even everyone. So, leaving elements to one side, do you possess any unique abilities? Ones that don't exist in this world? I think answering this question calls for the same methodology as last time. In other words, time for the No. You shan't be required to exert quite so much effort this time around. Now, see this pillar here? Use your willpower to try and break it.
Как в смысле?
That was your best effort? Well, can't be helped, I suppose.
What's with the disappointment? Isn't that, like, impossible?
Have you tried using your elemental power with food? I don't mean for cooking as such.
Нифига
Rather,
себе.
channeling your power into the ingredients themselves. I'm curious to see how the taste and texture respond.
Нифига себе.
It may even help with proliferation. I suppose I have a curiosity for things that others find surprising. Anyway, Why don't you cook us up a sunshine sprat?
М,
I've just finished preparing the recipe.
как раз рыбы нету.
Paimon was looking forward to more mad scientist stuff.
Not only is this recipe a staple for me, it's also worth experimenting with and highly nutritious.
Paimon bets you're just hungry.
Ну да.
That does sound yummy, though. Okay, good buddy.
I'll leave you to it then. Look, if there's anything left over, maybe Timaeus can finish the last.
Paimon doesn't think we'll have that problem. How are we gonna channel elemental power into the
That
food?
was fat.
Maybe try the willpower thing again.
Опять бегать, искать ингредиенты.
Anyway.
Так, а где эта рыба? Ловля рыбы. Че, уйти готов? Искать? Еще и цветка хорошего делается.
Just do it the old-fashioned
Слушай, а может у него где есть рыба в закромах, а? Я же цветок нашел. Может быть и рыба есть. Дай рыбки. Че это?
An elemental life form from another world. Albedo's
Что? Так, Альбедо. Рыб-то у меня нету. Где там рыбное место есть, а? Хотя бы одно. Вообще хорошо бы пойти к рыбакам. Везде. Нет, рыбаки там, по-моему, в этом. Здесь должно быть. Если я ничего не путаю. Твою мать. Так вот. Ага. Я надеюсь, у них сама рыба тоже продается. Ой. Где это? Ассоциация. Тут. Там, где-то далеко. Ладно, пойдем. Добежим, пару рыбешек себе возьмем. По-моему, у меня была рыба, просто ее надо немножко распотрошить, да? По-моему, вот там, да? Ассоциация. Рыболюбов. Рыбов. Так. Да, дальше еще. Там вообще. Давайте, наверное, бежим. Тут сундук стоит, ничего себе. Обычный. Обычный сундук. Каждый день такие вижу. Тут твою мать. Понятно. Ты, вон рыбак, смотри, стоит. Удочки размахивает, да? Рыболюб. Твою мать. Давайте еще и застрянем. Ага. Ну что? Ну что? Подожди, что ты еще можешь? Кто ты? Что делаешь? До свидания. Даже рыб нет, чел. Как готовить-то их? Вернее, сейчас. Наверное, здесь в магазине есть рыба. По-моему, можно как-то самому разделать, да? Кто знает, напишите, пожалуйста. Так, у тебя вот здесь должен быть рыбов. Несколько рыбов мне не помешает. Рыбов. Спасибо. Теперь срочно к Альбедо. Потому что он настолько хочет есть, что заставляет нас готовить под предлогом эксперимента.
That was fast.
Такой. Погоди. Так, вот дайте, что тебе дать. Сначала приготовить рыбную вкусняшку. Кто там может хорошо готовить? Ты. Мастерство. Жух. Ну-ка. Самый голодный человек.
An average outcome experimentally,
Yeah.
but you've really brought out the flavor. You seem well versed in the science of gastronomy. As far as the proliferation hypothesis is concerned, we've come up short. Seems like food presents the same headaches in your world as it does ours. Unless... Could it be that the natural laws of this world are limiting your unique abilities?
We just didn't know how to channel elemental power into the food. It's a little more complicated than adding herbs and spices, you know.
Not to worry. At least we put some food to good use. No need to feel disheartened. And here's your portion. Enjoy. I can box it up if you like.
Woohoo! Thanks! Glad you were paying attention.
I can tell that you're good friends. Paimon was keeping an eye on you and your safety during the whole experiment. Not that Paimon would have been able to do much if things had gone wrong. But anyway.
Hey! You were being nice a second ago! But you do have tasty recipes, so Paimon forgives you. And you're right, we are good friends. You have good friends too, right? Good students?
Yes. I'm fortunate too, I suppose. Anyway, moving on to the next experiment. There are all manner of alchemical items here. Keeping them in their proper place is a challenge at the best of times. A while ago, I had the misfortune of misplacing a batch. I managed to retrieve the majority, but 2 vials have been evading me. Animal crystal fly elemental extract and electrohypostasis powder.
Что получается мне сейчас это все искать, да?
You want us to go gathering again?
Don't worry if you can't locate them. I was planning to replace them anyway. Though finding them would save me the hassle. If you had, say, a superpower, like night vision or vibratory sensing, lost property would be a thing of the past. I must have dropped them somewhere in the area where you were looking just now.
So, guess we better
Может быть, у меня с собой есть.
Oh yeah! You could use elemental sight!
Science. Science.
See what you can find.
Так, давайте Science устроим. А, он здесь потерял. Отлично. Я тогда думал, что по всему миру искать надо будет. Ага.
This must be electrohypostasis powder.
Гипофстратис.
The extract of an
А,
animal
кстати, он и не
crystal
светился. Я его случайно нашел.
elemental energy.
Goodness, you managed to find them. Incredible. 1,000 thanks. I'm wondering, this elemental sight, this is what allowed you to locate the items and find me here on the mountains, correct?
Yep. Guess it does sort of count as a superpower, huh?
Unfortunately, though elemental sight is seldom seen, it is not unheard of in Teyvat. Only a never-before-seen otherworldly power would be of benefit to my research.
You mean we failed again?
Don't be disheartened. This falls entirely within my expectations. Besides, getting these items back, I'd call this a very worthwhile experiment. I have to commend your deduction that the items would contain elemental traces. Right then. Up until now, our research has focused on your otherworldly identity. Our research on your identity as one of us is just, in essence, the differences between humans are reflected in our intellectual and physical capabilities. Let's start with physical. Looking out from where we're standing, can you see what Sucrose is doing? And if you jump from here and landed on that cliff, the one over there, so what about if you planted a single blow on the mountain face here, and it burst into 1,000,000 fragments? Then could you see her? Then I shouldn't get too excited. Still, we'll gain a more thorough understanding with an experiment. I know of a location that will be perfect for a physical test. Please, follow me.
Пошли. Какой-то данж.
Still in one piece.
Знаю, где проходит задание у Альбеда?
Good thing the vial's so strong.
Там, где ледяная пустошь.
Весело.
Просто подстава. Я копил ключик, чтобы поиграть за Альбеда, а меня отправили просто в жопу куда-то. Просто сказали, иди нахер. И засунь себе ключик в задницу. Очень глубоко. А если ты хочешь взять или легко попасть наверх, то засунь себе еще глубже в задницу, может нам похер. Ты замерзнешь, и нам будет. Так как так-то, ёб твою.
Это значит, ты сам на это задание проходил, придется тебе там самому еще проходить задание.
Ну, я сейчас буду другие задания проходить.
What a bountiful harvest.
Ну, я понимаю, так, а что если тебе там наверх потребуется подняться, ты не поднимешься, если ты основной не пройдешь.
Немножко другой верх. Да, подожди, надо зажечь. Давай, Кукис, пожалуйста, не промажь. Ты любишь отворачиваться от меня куда-то. Заметил, он любит подкалывать?
Да. В нужный момент не в ту сторону дышит.
Че он вообще куда не попадя?
Out of the frying pan, into the fire.
Маленький Кукис.
Да, я по скалам бегаю.
Ну что ты от меня хочешь? Экспериментатор.
You want us to jump from up here?
Это место Александр Пушной.
Not necessarily. Not if you know of a better method, that is. Whichever method you choose, the experiment will end when you reach the opposite shore of the lake. I will factor the time expended and your top speed into my comparative analysis.
The opposite side of the lake. So, we're gonna be swimming?
Without limitations, we complete tasks intuitively, using the method that seems most rational to us. Some of us would be unable to stand the icy waters. Others might find the whole thing rather refreshing. No matter what choice you make, it's all a part of the experiment. For me, every detail isn't... Then if you would, please, I eagerly await the results.
Что ты от меня хочешь? Почему ты не замерзаешь? Ёп твою. Здесь на время.
Me? Recording data, responding to risks, providing emotional support.
So if we do decide to go
Вот еще несколько точек.
No. Unless you're thinking of conducting
Тихо, я
competitive
еще и замерзнуть могу. Спасибо, Альбеда.
Forget Paimon said anything.
Ага, сюда теперь.
Ему там какие-то ингредиенты нужны, или он там лабораторию сделал?
Это лаборатория.
Может, у него какие-нибудь препараты, которые создают, создание которых возникают.
Не знаю.
Your reputation precedes you, traveler. The data shows that you're easily outperforming the average citizen in Mondstadt.
Не знаю.
But you followed us the whole way without breaking a sweat.
Либо, может, у него все часто взрывается.
Actually, I used alchemy to cheat a little.
Не, он не часто взрывается, он такой умный чел.
If it turns out that the natural laws of Teyvat do not affect you, I should be able to make various inferences about the otherworldly civilization you belong to. If the natural laws of Teyvat do affect you, then I shall be able to make inferences into the kind of evolution that would occur under the absence of such effects. The innumerable possibilities that this could present, the captivating insights, it would be something to savor again and again.
But how does this help your research?
You've helped me to unravel many of the problems that were holding it back. When we return to the campsite, I should be able to show... I may be about to make some analogies between you and a few unusual specimens. I hope you won't be
Хочешь, я тебе скажу подкол, какой произошел?
Petrified
У меня было 2 крутки на обычном баннере. Там уже было 10-е. Кинул я, короче, иначе не выпало. Лук. Еще один раз кинул. Там уже пошла легендарная 5-звездочная. Я уже думаю, нихера себе сейчас персонаж будет. Знаешь, что выпало? Лук. Да, один легендарный. За место персонажей.
Ну, легендарный зато это и поставишь.
Зато мне еще надо 90 крутых, чтобы у меня был шанс получить персонажа. Ты поняла, в чем прикол? У меня на 10-ю лук попался. И на 90-ю легендарный лук. Зашибись. Повезло, да?
There is precious little about them that serves to pique my curiosity now.
So after all these experiments,
Зато у тебя лучница будет прям мощно стрелять.
Что, прокачать лук надо этот. Удачливый.
Of course not. You have been of great assistance to me, and I will remember this friendship for a lifetime. Now, before we head back to the campsite, there is one more experiment. Intelligence.
Тоже, да.
There are some other rules nearby.
Одинаковая, да. Ну, стопудовчик, 90 круток, у меня такой же лук будет.
Ну, так тебе повезет тогда.
Ну, очень. За место деда. Что там я как добираться, хер знает. За место деда так вообще классно, да?
Ну, если за место деда, то будет печально.
Конечно, это был такой подкол просто надо мной, я не знаю, как обидно было. Что все легендарные крутки, вот этот 10-я для 4-звездочных персонажей и 90 для 5-звездочных, у меня выпал лук. Причем я вообще не обиделся, если мне выпал катализатор или что-то другое, потому что мне лук вообще нифига не нужен. Понимаешь? Ничего угодно нужно, только не лук. Короче, выпало то, что мне абсолютно не нужно.
Почему?
Что я не дерусь ей просто так. Я использую для способностей. Фишек.
То есть ты просто так не стреляешь?
Нет. А для нанесения урона у меня вот эта красная баба. Чтобы на нее копье выпало. Или на сахарозу катализатор какой-нибудь классный. 5-звездочный. Ну нет, блин. Капец, такой был облом, я просто обосрался. Что, через 2 месяца может что выпадет. Такая, на самом деле такая система скотская тут. Просто не знаю. А что такое? Какое-то испытание будет, да? Сейчас я погрею сначала. Уже получше, не мог место выбрать. Ну давай. Только давай не на время, пожалуйста. Проверяй мои умственные способности, хорошо?
Господа разрабы, добавьте
Да.
Everything you do is an action I wish to observe. A tried and tested adventurer, I see. So, let's see you in action. Start wherever you like.
Короче, у меня сейчас что-то типа такая загадка у тебя была.
It's a complex environment, so proceed with caution.
Вот с этими, с феями.
Не та же самая.
Нет, проще. А это не та, с которой ты начинала случайно? Не та первая?
Какая? Нет, другая.
Запнулся, когда начинал. Получится. Потому что вторая находится вообще вверху где-то. А, все?
Ну да, у тебя как раз тут.
Вторая в чем заключается? Головоломка. Фейк найти, типа? А, да.
Ладно, хоть не на время.
Ой, я нашел тебя, заблудившаяся фея. Хватит блудить. Проститутка. Опять наверх лезть? Я ж пошутил, возвращайся, пожалуйста. Ты не проститутка. Ай, Откуда Хачапурло? Все в этой игре заканчивается дракой с Хачапурлами. Мне кажется, если бы тут была порнушка, она бы тоже тем самым заканчивалась. Да, драка с Хачапурлами. Так, а ты где куда покажешь? Куда? Наверх? Фейка там? Фейка? А где фейк-то? Показывает здесь, но здесь ее нет. Ты видишь фейку где-нибудь? Так. Он пока показывает в эту сторону.
Какую?
В эту где-то. А, вон, вижу. Заодно это греюсь об ее задницу. Фейка. Феечка. Ну-ка, полетели. Да куда ты прыгаешь в воду, бабища? Совсем мозги прожрала свои. А ты откуда здесь появился? Господи, я вас больше всех ненавижу, козлов. Ты бездну проходила?
А? Бездну?
Да.
Да. Как раз этот проект хотела сказать, что мало того, что еще с этим надо драться, так еще и эти появились.
Да твою мать. Он себе щит херачит опять. Тихо. Кукис под водой. Да твою мать, залазить, дебил! Ну куда поехали? Полетели, полетели, я с тобой лечу. Давай, давай. Перемещайся там, куда тебе надо. Только быстрее. О! Мне кажется, что он нас использует тут. Альбедо. А. Ну-ка, что там? Какие-то символы? Здесь был Петя. Альбедо лох. Написано. Непонятные знаки. Кажется, я где-то это уже видел. У себя в подъезде. Это что означает?
Я не помню. Помню, что он был как-то связан с поместье
Знаешь, если бы сделали Skyrim в анимешном стиле, я бы поиграл.
Он был бы похож на Genshin.
Да что?
Он был бы похож на Genshin.
Да, но в Skyrim более разнообразный квест, и оружие и способности. Я бы поиграл на самом деле. Мне закрадывается такая мысль. Если кто смотрит это видео, подскажите что-то, может, есть какая-нибудь анимешная, такая вот этот, как называется, анимешный Skyrim?
Что-то среднее между Genshin и Skyrim.
Да. Чудо? До встречи. Ну да. Может, что и классно покажет.
Not so fast. You're not leaving until I'm convinced that nothing dangerous is going on here.
Ты что, следишь за нами, что ли?
I most certainly did not. And I've witnessed everything that you and Albedo have been up to. I must say, you let your guards down. Or maybe you were drawn in by his compelling sounding hypothesis and friendly demeanor. Taking orders from a complete stranger? Drinking anonymous potions?
Ой.
Participating in all kinds of
Ой, ну да, наш герой наивный бывает, вообще капец.
I'd sooner believe you were tricked than that you would be so naive. Or perhaps you were colluding from the beginning.
Sister Rosaria's guard's so high she can't even see over the top of it.
It doesn't matter what you think. He could be a saint for all you know. But I understand him a little better than you, Outlander. I'm only concerned with one thing. Whether his alchemy has transformed you into something more sinister.
No way! Paimon would have sensed it. And anyway, he didn't even use any alchemy.
With an alchemist of his level, you wouldn't sense a thing. In any case, I'm not about to let a potential threat back into Mondstadt.
So, what are you gonna do?
I've got to hand it to you. You have your moments. If I can be sure that nothing you came into contact with is dangerous.
Как ты сделаешь мне, можешь штаны снять,
I've
показать тебе.
investigated everything else. The only items left on the agenda are these symbols.
But we don't even know what they mean.
That much is true. Not to mention, seems like there's nothing more to them. But for insurance purposes, I'd better make a copy. This is now a location of interest. Regular patrols should be set up here. Now then, all things considered, I deem that you pose no immediate threat. Which is what I was hoping. I would have been one very unhappy sister if you'd made me work overtime on your account.
Overtime?
А, то есть тебя послали?
Before we go our separate ways, Outlander, a word of advice. Don't be so quick to trust
Слушайте, она
Outlander.
может оказаться права.
Don't repeat the same mistakes
То
that
Альбедо
you
там
did this
какой-то
time.
выдумщик.
You made a lot of rash decisions today.
She's gone! So stubborn. Mondstadt doesn't have many people like that. Huh. Never mind.
Пошли.
Her. Let's go see Albedo.
Он её... Сейчас стопудов какой-то монстр нахимичил, да? Альбедо. Химик, ядерщик.
Catch the wind.
Ну-ка, рассказывай.
You're back. Good timing. I've just about reached the conclusion.
Что-то выдумал.
You took quite a while. Did you get held up on the way back? I wouldn't worry. She's just doing her job. Time for the results. We got a myriad of data today, and it was very difficult to finish all the research in one go. But the integral preliminary conclusion that I can offer you is you're very much like a human from
И
this
все.
world.
Ой.
You couldn't tell that just by looking? We spent all day working our butts off for that?
Please, I understand that this may have seemed self-evident to you, but in fact, nothing in this world should be taken for granted. Have you ever considered that the world of Teyvat may have a natural hostility to Outlanders? I mentioned the natural laws of this world. You're able to converse with me here without consequence, and nothing seems amiss. But it's arguably a small miracle. The only other life form that, like you, has come here from afar is the seed that I mentioned. Under the effects of Teyvat's natural laws, it isn't even able to sprout, let alone bloom. But after I observed you, I had another idea. Imitating you helped to inspire my alchemy. And so...
Whoa! It looks like
Что это?
something's appearing!
The transition from nothing into something, from shoot to stem, and now to fruition. Is not nurturing otherworldly life also nurturing the world itself? It would seem that that's as far as we go. A transient bloom of incomparable beauty. Life's proudest achievement.
Paimon thought with all our efforts, it might have bloomed forever, and it didn't even have any fruit.
Life is a manifold tapestry of free entities. Its value shouldn't derive from how long it stays with us. Even a momentary burst is precious. A short life can be well lived. A life lived efficiently, lived to perfection, is necessarily one unburdened by loneliness. So, do you understand what I meant about us conversing here arguably being a small miracle?
Things feel a little heavy right now. Don't be sad. You've got Paimon to look after you. Albedo, Paimon really wants to be your friend.
Thank you both. Even if dispelling loneliness is not essential for life, It certainly doesn't hurt. Your help inspired me to discover the means to make a flower bloom. I mean that the time I've spent traveling with you in the mountains was a valuable journey for me. In the future, if the need arises, can I solicit your help again? Well, glad I can count on you. I made a point throughout of telling him how ordinary the results were. But what was that sediment I saw forming at the bottom of the vial? It should not have been there. What could it mean?
Давай
Those
посмотри.
born of earth are bound by its imperfections, but those born of chalk are free of impurities. You and I are alike, both composed of a substance that has yet to be fully defined. If, one day, I lose control, destroy
Фига себе.
Mondstadt,
Ты кто такой вообще?
destroy everything,
Офигеть.
can I rely on you to stop me?
Вау. В смысле? Так. Зашибись. Но не дали за него поиграть, да? Спасибо. Я просто побегал как дебил. Лучше бы миссию деда открыл. Господи. Просто все впустую. Ладно, подписывайтесь, ставьте лайки. Не знаю, кто это смотрел. Никто, наверное. И всем пока.